Hey Aquarius, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is the High Priestess. And Knight of Wands. High Priestess and Knight of Wands is giving this feeling of connecting with your inspiration, which is going to lead to some type of action being taken. But this feels even like trying to tether that connection. Something I feel drawn to on the High Priestess card is the little ball that she has in front of her. And so it feels almost like trying to locate something. And when that connection is made, when it's located, Knight of Wands is then going to be called to action. But until that, there can be sort of a search that's happening, needing to find this. Asking the right questions, I am seeing Nine of Wands, Page of Swords, So Nine of Wands can feel like I still have these steps left to take. There's still a lot in front of me. And it can even feel like I take one step and another one and another one. And I start to feel like I'm getting closer to the top. And then I see like 100 more in front of me. It kind of feels like that. Like something almost feels a little bit endless right now. And you could be feeling a little bit discouraged, or you can just something going on with the process right now that can feel almost like endless a little bit. Having Page of Swords next to it, this can be sort of a mental fatigue that's happening. Page of Swords is that part of us that's interested, wanting to sort of investigate, to learn, to find things out, to research. But then having that Nine of Wands there can be tired, almost like something is endless and you can feel like you're not really getting anywhere, or just like it's taking really long for it to happen and you've already sort of exhausted yourself or exhausted a lot of energy. Now, next cards that we have out, I'm looking at Four of Cups. So coming back to this place of I'm feeling tired, and can even be I'm feeling a bit uninspired, connected with the Three of Wands. So this can be like when it comes to future stuff, maybe there's something that you feel like you don't want to get involved in. See how the Four of Cups is sort of moving away from that? Like this is going to be the big picture. This is what's coming together. This is the future stuff. But this Four of Cups is walking in the opposite direction. So there can be something that you just feel like you're not on that page right now. Like you're not ready to move forward in that direction yet. Three of Wands can also be about advancing and the next steps that need to be taken, and having Four of Cups can be like, I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to have to take the next steps. I don't want to have to take that big leap, or I don't want to have to jump into there. I wonder too if this is kind of associated with a paradigm shift, because the way that the Three of Wands is looking to me is kind of like a portal that you would go through. And this can be like, nope, I'm not ready for that yet. And so sort of running in the opposite direction. Maybe just like not feeling like something is right, not feeling like something is ready yet. Or you may just need to collect your energy a bit. In a way, I kind of feel like something is available to you. There's just a bit of being drawn in a different direction. But maybe for lack of inspiration. Okay, so here's the in-between. I'm seeing 8 of Cups, and I'm seeing 8 of Cups on one side, and then on the other side, I'm seeing 3 of Wands. So 3 of Wands is future vision, where we are going, the land and ground that we cover, the trajectory later down the timeline. And then over here with 8 of Cups is something that you can feel isn't really doing it for you right now. When we have that 8 of Cups, it can be a situation that we don't feel connected with, or we don't feel satisfied within, or we feel unhappy with. And then next to the 8 of Cups, there is tension. We have 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands is about needing to work out some type of conflict about what to do, conflict about how to take action. I have this energy. How do I channel that energy that I have? I'm starting to feel restless. That 8 of Cups is like, I don't really fit here. So there's something that needs to happen. And so the energy is starting to rustle up, but nothing is being done with it yet. It feels like it's just starting to well up a bit. So there can be that feeling of it. Like this is starting to emerge, and there can also be an emotional restlessness here, or just something that you're not feeling totally at peace with, or it can feel a little bit unsettled having High Priestess and having the 5 of Wands there, because this is in anticipation that like something is going to happen. I'm going to need to do something. I'm going to have to like channel the energy. I need to work through this. I need to figure out what I'm going to be doing with it. Also too, there can be a coming to terms that's happening as well. Because having High Priestess and having 8 of Cups can be coming to a place where there is a, like, let me try to really tune into this and see how I feel about it, and then feel like you're kind of coming up empty when it comes to the 8 of Cups. But also too, feeling like something isn't necessarily working can inspire you to want to move in the direction of something that feels more aligned, of something that feels more exciting, of something that feels more attractive to you. Which looks like a new chapter. So you would trade in the 8 of Cups, which feels like this can't really hold connection for me, to something that can. So you go from a situation where there is a lack of connection, moving towards a situation where there is that connection there, potential for connection, because it's an Ace of Cups. Potential for fulfillment. But can feel a bit split on this. Having Eight of Cups and having Five of Wands kind of feels like, what do I do with this? This is the situation. I'm starting to come to terms with what the situation is. Now, what exactly do I do about that? And then in the next part of the spread, it's the Ace of Cups and it's the Five of Swords. And this can be something that you feel sort of called in the direction of it, but then when we have the Five of Swords, there's also something that we need to work out about that too. If I feel attracted to move in this direction, there's still some hang-ups that I need to work through here. I also find it interesting too that below the Knight of Wands, we have Five of Wands. So this is about a shift that's taking place that will allow action to be taken, that will allow movement to happen. And then below Page of Swords, we have Five of Swords, which feels like allowing one to mentally engage once something is worked out. So this feels like then I can participate, or then I can envision this, or then I can connect with this, or then I can open myself up to learn more about it. I do also feel too like having Nine of Wands be connected with Five of Swords, this can be like the challenge is to open your mind and open your heart. Because Five of Swords is that stuff that we need to work through where there's something mentally that's happening here. There's a change that's taking place. There's a shift that's taking place. There's even what we can call a mending that's happening. Like something that had split that's now coming back together. Also too, when I see Ace of Cups and I see Five of Swords, this can be seeing connection and feeling intimidated by that, or seeing connection and being like moving away from it because like if I allow myself, then what if I get hurt, or what if this happens, or what if that happens? It's kind of like I see Five of Swords as being sort of closed off to something, because if you allow yourself to go there, there's a vulnerability within that, and that being the challenge when it comes to Nine of Wands and Five of Swords. So this can be like, maybe there's somebody that you're trying to connect with and you feel like they're not really open, or that they're giving you the runaround or a hard time, or you feel like you want vulnerability from them and then that's not really happening. Or this can be your own energy where you're like, I see that connection is there and connection is available, but things are happening and I'm feeling triggered at times and I'm working with those triggers, and it can feel very exhausting because Nine of Wands can be saying, I'm putting in all of this effort, I'm feeling tired, and Five of Swords is I'm working with that part of myself that has a lot to work out. I'm working through all of my baggage, or I'm working through like trying to heal this stuff that I perceive as being broken or being disconnected, and I'm healing that, I'm reconnecting these things. And even though I'm actively doing this and I'm actively learning, because we have that Page of Swords there, I'm learning about myself, I'm learning about my triggers, or I'm learning about where I'm not open to these things because I'm feeling scared, or because I'm having a hard time with vulnerability. This is all happening, and also too, it can feel just like a lot to be going through at the same time, just because of everything that this brings up. And it can also be too, like, I perceive that person as being closed off, and now I feel like I want to be closed off. So there could be like a lot of that stuff that's going on too, where you're sort of seeing things mirroring your own space and like what that brings up for you, and then learning about that, but it being difficult stuff that's being learned about. And then how do you not react to it in a way that you don't want to react to it, and just this whole thing. And we end with Two of Swords. But then we have the Sun on the bottom of the deck. This feels like emotional stuff that's being reconciled, like emotional stuff that's being worked through, that right now there's there's stuff that hasn't totally come together that is making its way together. Two of Swords I see as something that is not totally integrated, because Ace of Swords is the truth. And so Two of Swords is going to be something is true and something is not true, but both of these things are being held onto, and then there's confusion about it, or then there's turmoil about it, or then there's this, and then there's also this. It's like we perceive there being more options than there actually are, or more truths than there actually are. And so there's still a refining that's happening on an emotional and psychological level, because we start with the High Priestess, which is connected with the moon, connected with the wisdom about all things going on, feeling. And then Two of Swords is going to be us getting closer to a more pristine and pure understanding of what that is. And you can feel like you're sort of on the precipice of something, but not totally and completely there yet. But then seeing the sun on the bottom of the deck is that there's going to be illumination. So something is going to be cleared up, and then that's when you will have that breakthrough, and when you'll be like, finally I'm seeing things clearly again. But this can be feeling a little bit like, I know that I'm on the verge of something, but my intuition is not, and my discernment, they're not totally clear yet. Like something, I just haven't had that breakthrough yet. I'm so close to it, but I'm not totally there yet. And I'm seeing you, like, out of all of the stuff that you've been going through, getting closer and closer and closer to this. Working through emotional turmoil, working through the parts of you that I see Five of Swords again as like the most difficult parts of us to work with, because those are the coping strategies that have come up. Those are the defenses that have come up. Those are the like broken-hearted, unprocessed stuff that has come up. And then where I'm seeing this, the Four of Cups sort of move away from the Three of Wands. So you can see Three of Wands as like progress, where you're going. Having the Four of Cups moving away from that, this can be like, I'm not ready to step into that yet. Like you can see that as maybe being too forward for you. And then connecting these two energies as well, this can be like, rather than having to make that decision, or rather than seeing that, or rather than addressing this, sort of running away from it and being like, I don't want to, or I'm not ready yet. So what the Two of Swords is connected with is Seven of Pentacles. And so this feels like the future that you are currently investing in, like the present that you are investing in, and then what's going to be unfolding later down the line. And so this can be, as far as like a tentative, it's not even tentative, it feels like a present investment that you have, trying to figure out, like, there's a choice that needs to be made, there's stuff that needs to be seen about it, that you can feel like you're not totally there yet. You're very close to being there, but you can feel like I'm not 100% there yet. And I also feel like there's a part of you that may kind of not want to totally be there yet, because that Four of Cups feels like a bit of resistance to me. Like I may know that I'm not totally seeing something, but there's a part of me that almost doesn't want to have to address that, or doesn't want to have to totally see that, or doesn't want to have to like be there right now. Why? I think because of the vulnerability. I think because of I'm still working some things out here, still making sense of things. Let's see. Also too, if you have emotional stuff that you're holding on to where there's like a truth to be seen, but there can be a part of you that's still having a hard time coming to terms with that. I wonder too, like for some of you, this can come down to a situation that like actually doesn't resonate with you anymore, but there can be a part of you that like doesn't want to admit that to yourself yet. Like something isn't working. And there's a part of you that's like, this isn't working, but then the part of you that, if you totally and fully admit to yourself what that means, because Eight of Cups is like where you don't belong anymore. So it's something where you would not feel at home in that situation. You would feel like it's something that just, You know, when something just fits like a glove versus the opposite of that, that's going to be what the Eight of Cups is. Eight of Cups is something where you try to drink from it, but there's nothing to really quench that thirst on a level of feeling. But then if that's admitted to, there is going to have to be a looking to do something now, that then what's that going to do to the trajectory of things, and I thought this was going to happen. And I really feel like this comes down to a place of emotional honesty. And the part of you with Knight of Wands, this is the part of you that's becoming restless, because you're like, I know that this isn't working, I just want to be unleashed, and there's stuff that I know that I want to connect with and that I'm looking at the prospect of, but then you're not letting me make the choice that I want to make. And it's because of this sort of like latency on an emotional level of like not letting yourself go there fully. And I think, again, from a place of, if I do that, I'm gonna have to be vulnerable. Like, if I don't stay in this situation and I allow myself to look at the prospects of possibility and potential, what if I do that and then what if something bad happens? What if I do that and then I get hurt? What if I put myself out there and then like things sort of, I don't know, like there's some type of backlash for it? It can be all of that stuff where like you know in your heart what the truth is, but still not wanting to act on it, because then what's gonna happen? And also too, coming from a place of maybe like having a hard time accepting stuff too. Like, I don't want it to be like that. I want this to work, but then it's not working. And then what am I supposed to do? And again, that restless feeling coming up from within of like needing to work out what to do about this, how to address it. But there needs to be emotional honesty here with self in order for anything to happen with this situation. And I think also too, like working with the parts of yourself that like you're working through something mentally that can be really difficult, because it means a change of mind that's happening. So something can be seen rather than feeling split. You can feel like, yep, this is the direction and I'm solid. Whereas right now you can feel like, well, this is an option and that's an option and I don't really know what one to do. And so doing nothing about it and feeling kind of frozen in that spot. But then in the staying frozen, I'm seeing this restlessness that's coming up. I think too that something else that I'm seeing is that this is about like choosing yourself and choosing connection with you. Because the high priestess, that part of you that in the choosing of self and what nurtures you and allows you to connect and feel like I'm showing up for myself and I'm letting myself explore potential and explore connection. This Ace of Cups is about you and a chapter that you have with yourself, where you feel like this is about what I feel and this is on my terms and this is me being true to myself in the way that I feel. And also too, a mixture of like bravery that's needed as well. I think also too, with this Ace of Cups, having it be connected with the Five of Swords, is that you can look at something and say, my heart is calling me to do this for myself. And at the same time, like, what is this person going to think? Or what is that person going to think? Or am I going to be blamed? Or am I going to be criticized? And also then all the feelings that you feel towards yourself and all the things that you're thinking as well. And then having that like walk this back instead of moving forward, then being like, never mind, like let me like run away and pretend this isn't happening. But then it like comes up again and then you're dealing with it again. And it just feels like this cycle kind of keeps repeating itself. Like it's not going away because a terminal solution hasn't been found yet. And you can know too that if you were in a place where you were like, if I'm just going to be totally clear and honest with myself about this, things would really come to light. But at the same time, it can feel really difficult to do that, because then what's that going to mean? And then you can come back to this place of like, I almost just don't know what to do here. and still making sense of this and still trying to work this out. I do definitely get this part of you. When we have Eight of Cups and we have Knight of Wands, this is the part of you that looks at a situation and is like, well, this isn't working for me. Like, let's keep going. But then there's a part of you that's like pulling that part of you back and being like, hey, not so fast. Let's not do anything about this yet, because of still sort of emotionally coming to terms with things. So that part of you that's connected with your fire, passion, instinct, bravery, is like, come on, let's march ahead and figure this out. And then the part of you that is your moon energy is like, I don't know about that. So then like those energies are working something out. And then also, I think working with the part of you that's willing to take risks, that's willing to allow for flexibility mentally and change mentally for different perspectives, for things to come together, for admitting things that can feel difficult to admit. And then there's also like a learning about self and connecting with self and more about what that means for you too. And then also too, working with the part of you that may like to be like blissfully ignorant at times, because then it sort of takes away that responsibility of needing to act on the things that you know and feel. But then also a part of you that's like, are we investing in the type of like future that we want, or are we not? Because it's always going to remain like this if nothing gets done. And so there's a need to be present and to also understand how the choices that you're making presently also impact your future as well. And then coming back to that place of, what am I investing in? And needing to know that I think coming down to a place of seeing every moment as an active investment in the present and also the future. And that by like not making choices, you're still investing in something. It's not that you're not investing, you are investing in something, and being aware of what that is exactly. So there's a recognition, I think, of if you're not changing this, if you're staying in a situation where you know, like, I'm not happy or this isn't working for me or whatever, and you're like choosing to stay in that's what you're investing in. And that's the choice that's being made, and it is a choice that's being made. And so as much as you can be like, well, I didn't decide yet, like, this is a decision that's being made. And maybe also looking at that can sort of bring some empowerment back into choices as well. Because I get this sort of like moving away from a decision point and being like, okay, like not going to make a choice, but then needing to see that a choice is being made and coming back to that again. I think that's about it. All right, with that being said, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.